All right, welcome everybody. This is Mike Klingler, and I'm going to be talking about what a lot of you have been hearing about, and some of you have already plugged into if you're on my front level communications list. But those of you in our groups who've been tied into uh, others that have been, kind of talking about this or been a part of it, you've been hearing a little buzz about it. I wanted to do kind of an informal but still complete introduction before we started marketing this to the public and give you guys an opportunity to be part of the team. And I really want to emphasize that this is about teamwork and team building as much as it is about wealth building or being able to, if for those of you who don't really relate to the word wealth building, because I know not everybody is there in their mindset, and that's okay, but at least, being able to put your foot in the door of the cryptocurrency movement and not have yet another historic movement pass you by. Like, this is for those of you who want to be a part of that, but don't want to have to do it alone on your own, and who don't just want to rely on buying Bitcoin or cryptocurrency and waiting and hoping, or maybe don't even have enough resources to be able to just buy it and wait, but you really want to capitalize on it. The team building aspect of this is what has me so excited. A lot of you who've been following us a while know that I like to take my resources, my expertise, my time and energy, my marketing, and lend that to my team. But it was never really incentivized like I see here. So I'm really excited about it for that reason. You'll notice down here in the lower right of this cover, it says comprehensive introduction, because the next presentation I do on this will be a comprehensive review, just so you guys can know the difference when you see it come out. And that's going to be to the mainstream public. It's going to be the launch of our system again. For those of you who've been waiting for us to crank our system on, or who already joined us in this, and what I'm sharing today, just want you to know that the next step is to launch the system. But I wanted to give everybody who have been tied into our groups an opportunity to become part of this, because there's huge advantages to being a part of the core team before we launch it to the public. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. This is for those of you who already know that cryptocurrency, or at least you believe, like, I don't want to be the one to convince you of this. You already believe on your own, from your own research and so forth, that cryptocurrency is part of the future in a major way, and that it is going to be at least as big, if not much bigger. You already believe this, bigger than what the internet impact had on the world, and the opportunities that had for people that were there early. Like, you have to already believe that. I don't want to be the one to convince you of that if you're going to be a part of this. I don't want that responsibility. I want you to do your own research if you haven't already figured that part out. This is for those of you who see that and you're looking for as much leverage as you can get to take part in that and to benefit from it. I do want to say, like, no more risky business, no lending platforms, no one holding your Bitcoin, no one holding my Bitcoin. That's not going to happen anymore. What we're talking about is capitalizing on the cryptocurrency movement by minimizing risk, and I underscore minimizing risk. So, we're looking at both though. Can we capitalize on the crypto market? Yes, check. Do we control our Bitcoin? Check. So that was different from lending platforms who held our Bitcoin, right? Not going to give our Bitcoin to anybody else and then have them be able to take away a withdraw button or whatever they do that prevents us from ever getting our Bitcoin when we want it. So that's not in this strategy, and I will not take part in any more strategies where we're not in control of our own Bitcoin. Do we control our own crypto coins? So I mean, other cryptocurrencies, absolutely, check. So not just Bitcoin, but all cryptocurrencies that this strategy takes part in. You control the cryptocurrency. That's extremely important. So we can take advantage of growing and building and capitalizing on the cryptocurrency industry without that enormous risk, now in hindsight, that enormous risk of someone else holding that for us. Before I begin, I want everyone to confirm and acknowledge what I'm about to share with you. It's extremely important. I'm not advising you. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to advise you on what to do. I'm sharing my experiences and my opinions. I can share with you my marketing knowledge, and I can advise you on marketing, but not on cryptocurrency, not on what software you can use. I'm sharing with you what I'm choosing to do and why, and then you make your own decision. There is an important difference. I want you to acknowledge that there are risks in cryptocurrency, just as there were risks during the internet boom, just as there were risks in every developing market that had opportunity. It's so important to understand that. And if you don't grasp that, you shouldn't be a part of this. If that's elusive to you, that concept, like risks, what are those? You should not be a part of this. You have to understand that that's a part of opportunity. Most people should not join our team. I'm going to say it again. Most people should not join our team. Now, it's my hope that most people in our groups will come to the conclusion that they are of the character and mindset to join our team and for that to be appropriate to them. But I'm not going to decide that. You are. I want to just underscore most people in the public are not appropriate for our team, and we're not appropriate for them. And at the end of this presentation, I'm going to share exactly who is appropriate so it's clear who isn't. So I'll get to that before we close today. You're also going to acknowledge before you join our team that you watched this entire presentation. Before we launch this to the mainstream public, we're going to be bringing people on board our team who want to join, who've watched this entire presentation. That's very, very important. Okay, so we're talking about the strategy of Autobot crypto trading software, where the trading is in your control. So it's not like USI or lending platforms where the trading was in their control and they were supposedly passing on, earnings to us. This is where it's in your control so that you control your Bitcoin, you control your trading. It's in your hands. It's in your control. If you want to sell it, if you want it back, you got it back. It's a really important difference in distinguishing what this strategy is compared to, what a lot of people have been taking part in the past that I won't take part in anymore because the risk was just obviously simply too high. What I like about the software that we're going to be talking about today, the Autobot trading software, is you can leave it and forget it. Like this is what it does. This is what makes it so awesome. And I'll talk more about this today, but just real quickly, you leave it, you set it up, or it's just really easy to do, and you forget it. So it's not like Signals. A lot of you might have heard of Signals. Those who haven't, it's these other options that aren't so automated where experts tell you when to buy and when to sell. This is different. Those other options, some of them are fantastic. The challenge is with Signals where someone's telling you when to buy and when to sell. If you bought when they told you to buy, but you weren't around when it was time to sell, when it was signaling you to sell, then you could lose huge. So this is more automated. It's simpler. It's easy for beginners to start in trading. It chooses the coins that are reputable, that are solid and sound. And while, again, there's risks, there's no guarantees. They're not like these, coins that no one's heard of. And it's nice that people who are just getting started in trading or are early in the process can just use those. It's already set up that way. But you can add your own coins as you advance forward. You can do that right away if you want to. It's easy to do. You can add your own coins or even replace the coins that they're loading into the bot with your own coins. Now, initially, I'm just doing the coins they suggest. I did add one that I would like to own, which I'll show you a little bit more how that works. But you basically turn it on and it buys and sells for you. And it's automated and hands-free. And I'll show you how it works. But what I love about it is it's software. It's not a security. It puts the trading in your hands and your control, but it doesn't put us in a position that are building a business around this where someone can construe it as a security that we're selling. So you're not going to see the regulatory issues. So we got a vehicle here with legs. We have a vehicle here that we can tap into my marketing on and take advantage of long term. And that's really what we need. A lot of you that have been around a while, you know that I can make the marketing go. And I can pass a lot of that momentum and the results of that on to you guys. The challenge is we just need something that's going to last the test of time so we can build the network and build the crypto commissions from that marketing and that momentum. And again, I'll talk a little bit later about how the team building incentivized commissions is built in to this to really, really blow this up in that regard. But I think it's really important to stress because it's a software, we're not going to have those regulatory issues. So that gives us time to not just get into momentum, but stay in it long enough to help a lot of people be successful here. But let's come back to the Autobot trading software and focus on that for a minute. So let's look over here where the arrow is pointing. This is pointing at, this is like back in the dashboard of my software. This is actually a screenshot from today from my software. So it says 263 orders. So that's the total number of orders that my software did for me. Now remember, I started last Saturday, 1 week ago. So basically 7 days from this moment. And in that time, it's traded for me. I didn't have to do any of the trades. It's traded for me 263 orders in. Of those trades, there's still 68 open, which means those haven't turned green yet. Those haven't profited over 1% yet. But check this out. Out of the 263 orders, 195 have been completed. Now, I was playing around with my bot, and you don't have to do this, but I sold some of those myself. I saw them green, and it went boom, boom, boom. One little click, and they were sold because I saw them green when I checked it. But most of those, it sold for me, and you don't have to touch it. It will sell when it's over 1%, and I might wait for it to go much higher. Like I think I saw one at 20-some% that I made. I'll show you a little bit more of that. But I just want you to understand this part of the dashboard and how the Autobot software works, and to understand the benefit of it, and to understand like what really makes it so special. It's not that it's guaranteeing returns. It can't guarantee returns. No regulatory body would ever let it guarantee returns, because it doesn't make any sense, because the market could crash. No one can guarantee returns. Cryptocurrency could crash and never come back up. Now, do I believe it will? No, I believe it's going to go up, up, up. I don't want to be the one to convince you of that, though. But the reality is, from a regulatory perspective, we can never say, nor should we say, that it's guaranteed returns. So what does the bot do? If it doesn't guarantee how much you're going to make, what does it do? Well, here's what it did. It did 263 orders while I was sleeping, eating, playing with my kids, doing other work. It managed those for me. Boom, boom, boom. And it closed 195 of them that are at least 1% profit. Now, I should emphasize, that's how it usually works. I did sell some under 1% manually just for fun. It was this click, 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 took me seconds. You can do that too if you want to. I was just playing with it because I just got it going for a week. But ordinarily, in most of these closed orders, it's just automated. It sells when it's over 1%, can be higher, but when it sees it start coming back down, if it's over 1%, it will sell. And let's go ahead and run. Let me move to the next slide and focus on these. So this shows the open orders where the arrow is pointing now. So I had 263 orders made by the bot, 68 orders at the time that I took this screenshot. 68 of these are still open, meaning those haven't been sold yet by the bot. But I'll even show you another slide. Within a few minutes of me just taking these screenshots, it's like doing this all the time. That's the power of the bot. Let's look at this number. So I just mentioned it a little bit ago, 195 total completed orders. Those are the ones that I did manually sell some of those myself, but that only took a second, like click, 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 because it's so easy to use. But typically it will sell them for you when it's over 1%, sometimes much over 1%. Like I said, one of them was over 20%. I think we'll see that in a minute. But it's the automation of it. And I have 5 robots running. I'll talk about that later. That's just the number of different robots working at the same time for you. You can have one, you can have several. I just like to watch the different ones, and there's lots of different strategies on that, but you could just start with one robot, and once you have it going, you'll want to get another one going. Like like if you had half a Bitcoin to work with, you might want to put a quarter of that into one bot and a quarter in another, and just kind of see how they're running and working. It's interesting. But you could just have one bot. Now, I wanted to show you this. This is 2 different snapshots laid side by side. When I was taking these screenshots today for this presentation, I noticed that within about a 3 or 4 minute period, these numbers had changed. And I thought, oh, this would be good to take a snapshot of both to help you understand the value of the bot and what it does and how fast it does it. And once it's up and running, it can take a day or two for it to get rolling, because it might not buy right away because it's waiting for the right time to buy. But once it gets going, things can be changing and happening very quickly. So this was one screenshot here at the top that I took, and then a couple minutes later, I noticed, oh, the numbers changed. So the one at the bottom, I took a few minutes later. So you'll notice, if we look at the top, I had 263 orders in. And then a few more minutes, if you look at the bottom here, I had 277 orders in. So just within a couple of minutes, it had put more orders in while I wasn't paying any attention. That's what it does. It's managing the whole process for you, and it's putting all these orders in and they're all like a very small amount, so that it spreads it out and collectively it can be helping you, and it'd be very hard to do that manually. It'd be very hard for me to place like 277 orders. Even right now, if we went to look at it now, this would be more orders. Like, it's always working. It would take a full-time job for you to do that manually. And so by spreading it out over lots of orders, hundreds of orders, day in and day out, small transactions, small amounts, it's spreading, it's reducing your risk, and it's doing it in a way that you just wouldn't be able to manually do yourself. That's what the bot does. And then you see 77 open orders. So it had just placed a bunch more new orders is what had happened. But it also, look at this, it went from 195 completed orders in just a couple minutes to 200. And those are ones that it sold by itself. So within just a few minutes, while I was preparing the slides for this presentation, it closed out 5 orders for me, which had to be at least at a 1% profit. I didn't even look, but that's what it's doing all the time. That's the power of the bot. That's what it does. It allows you to get started and up and running immediately with trading when you might not know a darn thing about it. And you learn so much faster when you see it happening. And it's managing huge numbers of trades for you at very low amounts for each one. So you're spreading the risk out, and it's doing it in a way that you could never do it manually on your own because it's just too many orders, and it's tracking it all. And as soon as it goes over 1%, it can start selling. It might let it go much higher depending on what it's watching and seeing happen. So here's a different snapshot of the bot. Let's look over here. So by the way, I need to say, my results will not be, like, I think this is already obvious, right? But I'm going to say it again. My results aren't your results. Like, the bot doesn't guarantee results. It's not what it does. It would be illegal for it to promise that. Like, people that aren't ordinarily in the success world, like, they don't understand what's going on. We got to say these things, but it should be obvious. If it guaranteed results, like, do you think that that would just be ridiculous? It can't guarantee results. What it does is it makes trading easier. What it does is it spreads your risk out. What it does is it allows you to get involved, up and running fast, and to be able to track what's happening fast. What it does is it sells. They do guarantee that it will only sell when it's over 1%. That's its promise. It will only sell when it's at least a 1% gain. These are big advantages. It allows you to be able to enter the market, be up and running really, really quickly. But the results I'm getting, and I've seen other people with incredible results. I've only been doing it for a week, and I entered the market when it wasn't doing well, and it still did well for me. But in the week that I entered, it wasn't even doing that fantastic. I've seen other results are just like, it blows your mind, but we can't go blasting those all over the world and saying these are the results you're going to get. It depends what the market's doing. It depends on all kinds of factors. And I got to say again, and if the market tanked and never came back up, then the bot can't do anything about that, obviously. So that's why we can't guarantee results. But if you believe, as I do, again, I'm not here to convince you of it, but if you already believe from your own research that the cryptocurrency market's going to go really, really high, then having a bot allows you to enter into the market, manage lots of trades really fast, and have spread the risk out. And then over time, as the market keeps going up, you're just capitalizing on that. Again, I'm not guaranteeing that's what's going to happen. I'm saying that's why I'm doing it. And those who believe the market's going to go up, that's the advantage of the bot, is managing a lot of trades really, really fast, all the time, all day long, in a way that you would never be able to do yourself at really, really small amounts. So you're spreading the risk thinner. And again, when you look at these stats, you can start to understand, but don't look at the stats in terms of what results did you get? Oh, I'm going to get those results. No, it has nothing to do with that. That depends on market conditions and all kinds of stuff. Okay, so here it's showing the profit percentage that I got. Here it's showing the what that profit was in BTC. And again, I didn't have that much in, I didn't have that much going. I just want you to understand how the bot works for now, for a moment. And here was the profit that I made in this. These are the different bots. Remember, I had 5 bots. So this is the first bot, this is the second bot, this is the third bot, fourth bot, fifth bot. And then these are the percentages that they've made so far. Now, down here, you'll notice only $14 profit, $16 profit, $10 profit. That's because I just turned these bots on today. This one says 290 profit. I turned that one on last week, but a lot of you might have seen that video where, like, the first day the market tanked, and it was tanking like 10% a day for a couple days. And so I still did extremely well. And then here is a bot that I turned on a couple days later, and I turned it on after the market had been done tanking, and it while it didn't rebound a lot since then, it stopped tanking, and you might have remembered a video where it showed like almost all green like the first day. Like that one did really, really, really well really quickly. Now I paused this one and I paused this one, if you see the pause buttons, because I wanted it to kind of run through. I wanted it to stop buying, and I wanted to learn. I wanted to stop it and freeze it and kind of watch what's happening. That's why I did that. And then just today I turned on 3 more. So I've been very conservative. And I can tell you, I have made more Bitcoin than I started with. It's not a huge amount because I was very, very conservative. Like I turned these bots off just to watch what was happening so I could get my bearings, because when it's trading all the time, it's hard to learn and figure out what's going on. So I got them going, and then I paused them so I could watch. And I'll show you the screenshots of those in a moment so it's more understandable. Then these I turned on just today, these last 3, and they're active right now. They just started up. If I were to press this button, this is so easy to manage. If I were to press stop buy, then the ones that are in there would keep running like until they hit a 1% or higher, and then it would sell, but it would stop buying more. And again, that's what I did with these 2 in the top, because I just wanted to be able to see what was going on. It was like really hard if it keeps buying new ones to figure out like how am I doing it first. And now that I'm so much more trusting of the bot and understanding it after a week, I'm going to leave these running all the time. I won't be pausing them. Okay, so here's a shot of one from today. This is the one I did today. And I wanted to show you, like, I want you guys to understand as much as possible, like, they don't just turn green your first moment, right? Like, there'll be a lot of reds. In fact, when I first opened it up, like within the first hour or 2, or when it started to, maybe it took a couple more hours to get more trades in, but when I first looked at it, it started getting trades in, almost all of these were red. And so you need to understand, like, it kind of starts there. I think, and I've heard different theories on this, but everyone pretty much says they start pretty much in the red. Of course, when it's buying, a lot of times it might be buying when it feels like it's about ready to spring back up, but maybe it quite didn't do that yet. So that might be one reason. Someone else said it's also putting fees in there initially, right off the bat, so it might start in the red. There's different theories on why it starts in the red, but I've noticed consistently they always start where they're almost all in the red. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It wouldn't just buy and boom, it springs up. But after a little time, once it goes over 1%, it can sell. So I just wanted to show you what these things mean. So this one at the top says 0.44% negative. So it says pending. Now I could click and sell it, but I wouldn't do that usually when it's, when it's in the red. And I just let that one run. That's why it says pending. And if it goes over 1% in the green, it might sell. Now, I say might because it won't sell until it's gone at least 1% in the green. And if that could take days, that could take weeks. Again, I'm seeing most of them turn green because the market's so volatile, right? So it's going up and down all the time. And I see them turn green and go way over 1%. Most of them have done that in a week, which is why when I showed you at the beginning the open orders and the number of orders that had closed, within a week, a lot of them close. Like a lot of them do that. There's no guarantee that they will, but because the market's volatile, that's what I'm seeing. So this one closed at 6%. This was pretty fast within a few hours. This one sold too. So I don't know what it was at when I took the screenshot, but it means it was over 1%. Maybe it was a lot more than 1%. I don't know, but it sold and it was just validating. It was still processing. This one sold at 1.45%. Now this one, look, it's in the green. It's at 0.08%, but it's pending because it's not over 1%. It won't sell yet. Now I could sell it if I wanted to, and I have played around with that. In fact, this one says 1.56%. I just wanted to show you a screenshot. So I had sold this one. That's why it says user sold. I had just clicked that and I clicked that. I wanted to show you that. So because I saw it at over 1.56%, I just sold it just to show you what it would say. But understand that it could have sold it at this point if it thought it was going to go down, start going down. But a lot of times it lets it keep going up. So if I hadn't touched it, it might have gone much higher. Then this 1.44%, so obviously that's going to keep running. And then this one, this is the one that I also sold just to show you what it kind of all looks like. This one too, by the way. This one, look, it completed on its own. A lot of times if you don't touch them, they'll go much higher. This one, 1.29%, I decided not to touch that one. I could have clicked sell now, but and it could sell it too, and maybe it has by now, but I wanted to see if it would go much higher. So again, it can sell it when it goes over 1% profit. It won't sell it no matter what until it goes over 1% profit. And because the market's so volatile, you can see how that could be a successful situation when it's automated, especially if you believe long-term the market's going to go up, right? So you should be able to put 2 and 2 together and see how that works. But again, there's no guarantee of anything. We have to keep emphasizing that for regulatory reasons and also just common sense reasons. But nonetheless, those of us like myself who believe the cryptocurrency market's going to go up, this is a really safe way to go about trading and managing all these different trades and having it churn over these greens really fast. Okay, so here these are in the negative, right? So this is a really good transparent depiction of what you're probably going to, kinds of things you're going to see when you first turn your bot on. It might have to take days, weeks. And again, I got to say, there's no guarantee that these will ever turn green. But again, it's choosing. I did the coins that it chose, except for one. So it's choosing coins that have a strong reputation. So if you believe that the strong coins, the ones that are really reputable, are solid and the market of cryptocurrency is going to go up, then this is a very safe place to be. Okay, so now below you see 4% gain, 4% gain. It says complete. See, it doesn't say user sold. These it did on its own. Again, this is a snapshot of one of my bots, just very transparently, of what it might look like your first half. I'm only into it a few hours. Now, they could have been all red. I showed a video earlier this week when I entered the market right before it tanked, and they were all red the first day except for very few. It looked really bad. But then like a couple days later, about half of them were green. And now I would say over 80% of them are green. In fact, I think I might show a slide of that, or I don't know. We'll see if I show a slide of that, of the old one and of where it's at after a week. Here's a closer look at what I was just showing you, just so you could, in case you couldn't see it very well. Negative 0.44%, it's going to say pending. I wouldn't sell it. I would just let it sit. Here's one that says complete because it sold it for me. Here's one that says user sold. That's what it looks like. User sold, because I saw they were green and just wanted to show you. I just went click, click, click. That's all it took me. I went click, 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 literally that long, and it sold. And you can see this one's at negative 0.24%. So of course that's just going to keep sitting there. Yeah, here's the snapshot of one of them that I did early in the week. And I don't know if this is the one I started Saturday. I think this is the one that I started on Monday. So this is 4 days ago, 5 days ago. This is 5 days ago I turned this bot on. And you can see some big numbers, 27%, 12%, no guarantee that that's what you're going to see. But I just want to show you something to wrap your head around of how this works. And then down here it has, I couldn't take a snapshot of the whole thing, but this bot, which I turned on Monday, and this is Saturday, 5 days ago, this bot, they're all green except for 2. And the other one's about the same amount because I think it was actually the same purchase. So negative 1.72% on 2 of them. And then it has a whole bunch more than this that are green. So, I mean, a very successful bot. Does that mean they're all going to be? No. That's not what it's about. It's about being able to manage all these trades without being there. It's about being able to have it sell without you having to be there. Like with the signals, I know not all of you know what the signals are, but there's another way that people are trying to, leverage other expertise, and it's called signals, and it tells you when to buy it, it tells you when to sell. The problem with that is if you're not there to manage it to sell, it can really tank. And it's just harder to manage. This is like automating the whole thing. This is just a fantastic, phenomenal way to begin, to be in control of your Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency, to learn, because you're so engaged and you learn so fast. Like I tried to do trading on my own, and I've heard this from everybody. Well, I haven't talked to everybody who bought the bot in my group, but many of them have reported the same thing that I felt when I was trying to trade before, when they were trying to trade before. It's overwhelming and complicated and time consuming. The beautiful thing about this is you get to enter, it spreads out the orders, the buys and sells over lots of different transactions at a really low amount, something that would just be almost impossible to do manually unless it took you all day long. It would just be a headache, and it's managing that for you. So if you're like me and you believe the cryptocurrency market's going to go up, just a fantastic way to continually leverage and have it just sell for you when it gets in the green. Okay, so I hope it's really clear, what it does and what it doesn't do. It does not guarantee anything except it won't sell until it hits 1%. But it's an awesome, so you're like, well, what does it do then? It makes it easy. It makes it easy to start trading, and it makes it easy to manage lots of micro trades, which would be almost impossible, if not impossible, for a person to do on their own manually. And since it won't sell until it goes into the deep into the green over 1%, and sometimes way over 1%, it's watching. Like it might go to 5, 6, 7, 10%, and then it starts dropping. It knows to sell it for you because it's managing that. It's automating that process. That's valuable. That's extremely valuable, and it makes it easier to participate if you can't just full-time sit behind a computer screen. That's the value of it. It's not guaranteeing anything other than that. It's going to automate and simplify the process of being able to be involved in the cryptocurrency trading market. It's software, and I think it's awesome. There's another place you can look to see how you're doing. So this showed how much BTC I had. This is in Binance. Now, for those who don't know what Binance is, it has also an affiliate program, by the way, which will be part of our system that I'll talk about later. So another way to generate commissions, and it's free to sign up for. It's an exchange. It's an exchange that a lot of people use to manually trade cryptocurrency the hard way. But they have an API, which is pretty cool because Binance is the third largest exchange in the world. So it says a lot about the company that they were able to pull off making their API integrate with Binance, the third largest exchange in the world. Says a lot. But anyway, in Binance, if you look at this green arrow at the top, it's pointing at this little icon person. When you're logged into your Binance account, which is really easy to set up, it's free to set up, by the way. When you click on the little icon, it shows how much Bitcoin you have in there. And you can see that it's, when it's growing from the trades that are happening, this will be increasing the estimated value of what's in your Binance account. And it's important to understand that I started with a little bit less than a Bitcoin, and I just put in another Bitcoin yesterday and just turned on the bots today. So I know that since Saturday when I started, and I was doing massively conservative, like I wasn't using the full Bitcoin or anything. I was extremely conservative. I paused my bots. So it was impressive to me that I got almost 3% in less than a week when I entered when the market tanked. Is this a guarantee that's what's going to happen for you? No, I got to keep saying that. But this was the results that I got, so I wanted to share that with you, and it impressed me because first of all, I wasn't using a whole Bitcoin. I don't know exactly what the percentage was. It was actually much higher than 3% because I wasn't using the whole Bitcoin that I had in here. And I want to say again, I just added another Bitcoin. I just want to share that with you, though, that when you click here on this little icon while your bot's running, you can kind of see how you're doing in total from your Binance account. Okay, so there's a pro member level and there's a young member level, which is the terminology for those building a business, which is what I want to focus on because, I'm looking for the highest leverage I can, but to minimize risks way more than I did when I entered into this market 5 months ago with lending platforms and stuff. Like, I need to massively minimize risk now. Came out strong, high risk. I talked about that, how I was really high. No more high risk. I'm lowering the risk. I'm mitigating the risk, but still maximizing returns. I still want to grow Bitcoin. I want to grow cryptocurrency, but I want to hold my own Bitcoin. So on top of that, I want to be able to generate commissions in cryptocurrency. And we can do that with Binance, like I talked about, and I'm going to be turning on my marketing system, and you guys can use that to generate cryptocurrency commissions. That's what I used to do. A lot of you know that. Like in 2008, 2009, I was very well known in the marketing industry for being what they call a super affiliate, and I had a launch one time with $1 million launch, and it was all built around being able to generate lots of commissions. But that was before cryptocurrency. Now I'm applying that to generating commissions with cryptocurrency, but I want to do it with solid organizations. I want to do it with organizations that don't hold our Bitcoin. I want to do it with organizations that regulators are happy with. And so like Binance is an exchange, like completely okay to refer people into Binance and get some commissions. And same thing with CWE, Crypto World Evolution, that sells this bot. It's not a security, so it's software. So the pro member and young member language refers to the business levels, and I'm focusing on the business levels because I want to generate a lot of commissions, and I want to help my team generate a lot of commissions in Bitcoin by selling the software and introducing people in a much safer way than lending platforms to cryptocurrency to help them get a foothold in the cryptocurrency revolution. and to educate and teach and show them how to do that, but without being confused as a security, and so that we have long-term potential to put my marketing to work. Anyway, so it's not just about using the bot and generating Bitcoin that way. I'm really looking for people who want to be part of our team and benefit from my marketing to generate crypto commissions in companies like Binance, which is an exchange, but also with selling the bot through the marketing system that I have. So they call it a pro member and a young member. I call it big bot and baby bot. The pro membership costs 2,000. They say 2,000 PV because you pay in Bitcoin and that price can fluctuate, but they call it PV. But $2,000 you can think of in terms of translating the cost of Bitcoin at any given time. And the young member baby bot is 500. And the big difference between these two is compensation, but also how much you're able to trade. So with the big bot, the pro member level, you're able to trade up to $10,000 worth of Bitcoin at a time. With the baby bot, the young member, you're able to trade with 2,500 at any given time. And I'll talk about compensation plan differences a little bit later. A lot of people can start with baby bot, but I do want to emphasize there are a lot of advantages to the big bot in terms of leadership commissions and all kinds of stuff. So it's something that you could maybe start generating income with using the system and so forth, and then invest, put that back into getting the bigger bot membership on the business side, and then and then you can be at the pro level that way. We really do want to emphasize the pro level because of the advantages, not just in trading, but also with commissions. We'll talk about that later, though. But you can start at the young level. I want to just pause and speak to those of you who are wondering, why should you move forward or even consider moving forward with something like this? And again, I do not want to convince you to do that, but I want to share with you to the best of my ability why I'm doing so. I talked about how I don't want to have extreme risk anymore. I'm willing to take risk, but not extreme risk. Yes, we have to take some risk if we're involved with opportunity, and obviously there's risk in the cryptocurrency market. But I don't want to take no lending platforms. No one's holding our Bitcoin. Nothing that I'm involved with. But the reason why I feel very excited about this is because in my paradigm, the one thing that I do stand solid and firm on, that I always stood solid and firm on, that is what really motivated me to take a lot of risk, is I really believe in where the cryptocurrency industry is going. And while we don't know which coins in the end will win out, just like nobody knew what the internet boom was going to, what the shakedown was going to be, which company, nobody knew it was going to be Amazon, early on. We can know that in total, the entire industry is probably going to be valued much, much higher than it is now. In fact, if you listen to the experts and they compare cryptocurrency to the internet boom, they show, when you look at the volume of money that's invested into the market during the internet boom, it just towered where in scale, in scope, where cryptocurrency is now. Cryptocurrency is in its infancy, if it's ever going to come close to what the internet boom did when it was at its height of its bubble. We've talked about good bubbles and bad bubbles before. When capitalism has bubbles. Every developing market was a bubble when it was going to be transformative and major. And the internet boom back in the late 90s, early 2000s was a bubble. That's what focused all the energy and money into creating the good companies that came out of all of that. I believe the same thing's happening here. You have to decide that. I don't want to advise you on that. I can't advise you on that. You need to go do your own research if you don't believe that. But if one believes that, as I do, I'm excited about this because it gets me in the game. And it gets me in the game in a big way, in a fast way. You can start trading with something very small, like 0.1 Bitcoin. Some people even started with less. It's recommended 0.1, but I've actually seen people posting similar results to what I'm getting who started with much less than 0.1 Bitcoin. But the point is, you can get up and running quickly and spread. When I say in a big way, I don't mean necessarily the amount you're trading with. I mean in a big way in terms of the bot is trading across lots of different coins, spreading your risk, and in setting you up to be able to be in a position where you've got lots of trades out there and you didn't have to manually manage them. So if you believe the market's going to go up, that's a great place to be in, even if it goes down temporarily. If you believe it's going to go way up, like the internet boom did, I'm not telling you it is. I'm telling you that's what I believe. That's what a lot of experts believe. It's up to you to decide that, and I really hope you already have come to that conclusion if you're even here, because I don't want to even influence you in believing that. So many people already believe that, like I do, and the bot is extremely valuable to be able to plug into that opportunity. I wouldn't be able to do it manually on my own. That's why I love the bot. So as the market grows in value, I'm in the game big time, every day, trading, and I don't have to manually manage that. Okay, so that's what I love about the bot. Absolutely love it. What I like about the business, first of all, the owner of CWE, which is an acronym for Crypto World Evolution, is known in the industry. He's been known for years. He's been involved since and trading heavily since 2014, which, by the way, this is 2018, so that's 4 years. That's a long time in this market. In cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, 4 years is a very, very long time because it's such a developing industry, and that was so early. So one thing I like about it is we know who the owner is. That's important. Is it everything? No, but we know who he is. We know where he lives. That's extremely important. What I really like about it, even more than that, is it's not a security. It's software. It can't be confused with a security. So people might debate all day about, is USI a security, is it not a security? We don't even have to have that debate here. That's important to me. You can choose your own coins as you advance. So I already chose a couple in my first bot, and my last couple bots, I only chose one coin. But if you already know what coins you want, you can do that. I love that. But if you don't know what coins you want, you can just turn it on and it buys and sells for you, and you can plug in and it starts working. And nothing's going to teach you about trading faster, and nothing's going to be able to get you up and running faster. If you're just just getting started, you're wanting to get started, it feels to me like the safest way to get involved, because it's up and running and it's managing it for you, and it takes the anxiety out of it. Does that mean there's no risk? No. The market could collapse. We established that. I just don't believe that it will. I don't want anyone doing this based on my recommendation if you didn't already believe that it's going up. Like, that's a decision. You want to already trade. You should already want to be involved with cryptocurrency. You should already believe that it's going to go up. I don't want to be the one to convince you of that. I don't want that responsibility. I believe that it's going to go up. That's why I love the bot, because that's why I want to be involved with cryptocurrency. I don't want to be a day trader. I believe the whole market as an asset is going to go way, way, way up, but I want to be able to play the trades without having to manually do it on my own and collect, grow Bitcoin. That's my goal. If that's something that you already wanted to do, then the bot is great for you, because you can do lots of trades, get started really fast, have it running for you, all automated. You just turn it on and it buys and sells for you. It simplifies the entire process to get started in trading. Okay, but here's the other thing. Huge emphasis and rewards for teamwork with the compensation plan, with the selling of the bot. So using my marketing, which I can pass on to you. I know most of you know this, but some of you are new to our group, actually, and you might not realize I got years of experience with marketing. That's not the problem. I needed a vehicle that's going to last. That's not going to be confused with a security, so they get cease and desist orders in cryptocurrency. I need a vehicle, a company with an opportunity that's going to last, so that when we get momentum and we start doing extraordinarily well, we can get the rewards from that. I'm really excited about the fact, and I'm going to show you in a minute how their compensation plan rewards us for working in teams. It's awesome. I've always worked in teams, but I'm not always rewarded for it. You guys are going to benefit tremendously from my expertise, my effort, and the whole team does. The whole team does. And it incentivizes us to do that, which I really, really like. By the way, Thomas Perez is the owner. Like I said, he's known and experienced in the industry. He started in crypto trading in 2014, top distributor for BitClub Network and Airbit, which are still in business now. So that's important, because a lot of them don't last very long, right? So we know that he's been involved with organizations that know what they're doing from a regulatory perspective and so forth, because they're still here after years, which, again, any number of years is a long time in cryptocurrency. He quickly set up his own trading and was doing extraordinarily well and kind of built a reputation as a trader. and then he created CWE, Crypto World Evolution. It's registered in Belize. Now the United States is getting more and more friendly, and right now there's hearings going on in Washington D.C. for cryptocurrency. But before recently, people were wondering, like, were they going to outlaw it or whatever? So that's, probably why. I can only speculate why it's registered in Belize. As the regulations, if they continue to, and they appear to be getting more and more relaxed here in the U.S. and more clear, I think you're going to see more companies like this, be registered in the U.S. But right now, I think it makes perfect sense based on how the U.S.'s stance has been on cryptocurrency up until very, very recently. Why a company might want to be registered outside the U.S. Their tech team is in Madrid, a lot less expensive for a tech team outside the U.S., that's for sure. And he resides in Los Angeles, California. So I think that's important, that he's inside the United States. So these are some reasons why I feel very, very comfortable with the company. Now, regulatory considerations, very, very strong, compelling reasons why I chose CWE over some other options. I mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again. The software is not a security. There's no pooling for mining and no pooling for ICOs. So some of you know that I was looking into 3T network. My big concern there's a lot of pluses on it, but my big concern in terms of finding a long-term vehicle to build a business around and put my marketing into and build a team around and say, hey team, like this is something we can run with, after all the challenges that we've had in cryptocurrency with lending platforms and so forth. When I'm looking for something solid to last the test of time so we can capitalize and move beyond that and like actually, not be concerned with regulatory issues and so forth. With 3T Network does pool for mining and does pooling for ICOs. And they are licensed with the SEC, which suggests, which says it is a security. So I don't want to be making commissions in a referral business, network marketing type fashion, with something that might be construed as a security. I've run into those challenges already. I don't want to face those again. So what I really like about CWE that gives me a strong sense that it's going to last the test of time, which is so important in this market, is that we're not pooling for mining and we're not pooling for ICOs, and that's something I saw in 3T Network. Now, I'm still going to test the 3T Network system, as far as the returns that you get and so forth, and I'll share that experience. And we may integrate the business in some way, but we're not going to lead with it, and I have to learn a lot more before I feel comfortable doing that about the regulatory issues. It's much more complicated. It's not complicated with CWE. It's very straightforward. It's a software, and they did that purposefully. So we cannot be confused with selling a security. Again, there's no guarantee of results. This is a regulatory consideration. I like that they emphasize there's no guarantee of results. Like, it's super clear. They make it extraordinarily clear, and it needs to be from a regulatory perspective. There's no guaranteed results except this one. Crypto World Evolution promises people only that they are going to sell when the market is 1% or more. So the bot won't sell unless that coin is at a 1% increase or more, which is cool. I love how that works. Let's talk about the compensation and the team building aspect. This is, one of the really compelling aspects of all of this. Once we know that they've got everything in place, as a vehicle to go very, very long, so we can put my marketing on it and help you guys generate leads, other commissions and other, cryptocurrency commissions like Binance that we build into that system, but also be able to sell the bot and help you sell the bot so we can go long. Like, other than that, let's look at the compensation plan, because this is awesome. So one of the compensation plans is called a binary, the other a matrix, the other a unilevel tree, and there's also leadership, and I'm going to talk about that. And the way that they've structured all of this, as I'm going to show you, is based off of team effort, team working together. That's what I love about it, because that's, as you guys know who've been around me long, that's what I love to do. I love to lend my expertise, my energy, my resources in a big way to helping the team, my marketing and everything, but never really typically don't have a lot of reward for that. You guys are going to benefit tremendously from this. It allows me to go even much further than I have before in helping. So let's break this down. I'll get into that in a minute, because that really pertains to the matrix and the binary more than this one. The unilevel tree is the first compensation plan. Not that exciting, but it's nice. If you're at the pro level, which is the big bot, you get 15% direct commissions from people that you enroll, and 5% on the second level, that's indirect. So what that means, again, this isn't the exciting piece, but I got to cover this part. What that means is, if you're at the pro level, which is the big bot level, I call it big bot. They call it PV. You can think of that in dollars. It's called PV because it's not really dollars, because it's in Bitcoin, but it fluctuates, right? $300 of Bitcoin fluctuates in terms of how much that is in Bitcoin, and you pay for this in Bitcoin and you get paid in Bitcoin. So they call it PV, but you can think of it in dollars if you need some kind of reference point, but it isn't dollars. It's the equivalent to dollars, but that changes as Bitcoin's price changes day to day. But with that said, you get 300 if you're a pro and you sign up somebody at pro. You get 100 if you're at pro level, big bot level, and somebody on your first level signs up a pro. So it's kind of like a 2-level unilevel plan. Or if you're at pro and you sign up the young level, which I call baby bot, you get 75. And if somebody on your first level signs up a baby bot, you get 25. Okay, now if you're not at the pro level and you're young, which I call baby bot, if you're at the young membership level, and they call it that, by the way, because it was set up for people that were younger that wanted to be involved, maybe in their late teens or early 20s, that might not have a lot to work with. If you're at the young level, maybe just getting started, because there are other comp plans, obviously, like sit tight, this isn't the exciting one. I just want you to know, if you're at the young level, you get 10% on direct and 5% on indirect. So the indirect, which is the second level pay, is the same. You get a little bit less on the direct. So let me break that down. If you're at the young level and you sign up somebody at pro, you would get 200 instead of 300. If you're at the young membership level, which I call baby bot, and you signed up another person in the baby bot young membership, you would get 100, which is the same as up there. And then on your second level, if somebody else signs up, if you're at the young level and somebody else signs up a pro, you would get 50 instead of 75. And then the other is the same. If someone on your first level signs up someone at young, you get a 25. Just understand that if you're at pro, you get 15% direct and 5% indirect commission. If you're at the young level, 10% direct and 5% indirect. So, this is the first level. So if you're here, if you were at this red spot and you signed up this person, that's the first level, the direct. If you're in the red spot here and somebody else underneath you signed up somebody, that's the indirect. All right. That's we're going to have a lot more on compensation plan, by the way, but I do want you to understand the team building aspect, because that's what makes this really exciting for me to be able to help other people and for the team to work together to help each other accomplish really cool goals. So here's the binary. So this is also happening at the same time. Let's imagine that you are this red spot here. And by the way, you get paid binary whether you are at pro level, which is big bot, I call it big bot, or whether you're at the young membership level, which I call baby bot. You get paid the same, this one. So a lot of people might come in here with the baby bot, young level, and then start generating commissions and kind of lock in their position on the team and start benefiting from that team effort. And then with the commissions that you generate, maybe later you could upgrade to the pro bot. You could consider that. I do want to encourage you guys, if you can, to consider the pro bot, because it develops leadership. I'm going to talk about the leadership comp plan in a minute, which is just another really cool aspect of this, because it's really developing leadership and teams and so forth. It's really, really solid. It's really designed for long-term reward. You can get it going fast, and then it has long-term reward, especially with the marketing system that I can give you guys, which I'll talk a little bit more about today and a lot more about as we go forward. So the way the binary works, for those who aren't familiar with these things, you basically, in this comp plan, in this one, you have two legs. On the left, you see a leg, and on the right. And so you might not be the person who places someone underneath you. Someone else on your team might do that. Now, you don't want to count on that. We don't ever want to have people only enrolling and then waiting for other people to build their business for them. But it's important to understand, if you're working as a team, that this can happen. Like, you still get paid on it if someone in your upline is placing people underneath you. And it's kind of built in a way where that naturally does happen, and I'll explain that in a second. So again, this is the beauty of the teamwork effort. Whether you place somebody on your left or your upline did, it counts as volume. And whether you place somebody on your right or your upline did, it counts as volume. And as your downline's building, of course, that counts as volume on your right. And same thing as your downline and their downline builds. And as your upline might have some spillover, it builds. It all counts is what's important to understand here. Now, now there's one thing you need to do to qualify. You do need what's called 2,000 PV on the left that you sponsored and 2,000 PV on the right that you sponsored, because they don't want people just sitting there camping out and waiting for someone to build all their income for them. Obviously, you have to contribute something to the team. So you have to personally sponsor 2,000 on the left and 2,000 on the right. Now 2,000 PV is either you sponsored a pro member, which I call Big Bot, on the left and right, or you sponsored 4 baby bots, which is also called young membership, because that's worth 500 PV each. You need 2,000 on the left and 2,000 on the right, and then you qualify. By the way, if you don't understand all of this as I run through this, if this is some of the first time you've been introduced to these concepts, we do have obviously a lot of training on compensation plan. We'll make sure you understand. I just want you to understand that you do have to take a personal role in getting a little on the left, a little on the right, 2,000 PV on the left, 2,000 PV on the right that you personally sponsored, and then you open up the binary forever. Then you open up the binary forever. And the way that that works is it looks at the total volume on the left every day and the total volume on the right every day, and it pays you 10% of the lower side. So if you look up here, it says my binary left, 6,000 points, right, 4,000 points. If it's midnight, it's going to take the lower side and give me 10% of that, so I get 400 that day. And this pays up to 10,000 per day. Doesn't mean that's what you're going to get, but that's where it maxes out. It's important because some of them max out a lot less than that have been in the industry. This one maxes out very, very high, obviously. I know that's way out of reach of what people need to feel like they're doing well, but I want you to make sure you knew that. So I'm going to go through it one more time. In this one, you need 2 legs. And once you have one on the left and one on the right, in this one, we just stack them down. So like your team members work together to stack this leg down. And when you get this, and they also are required to put some in the on the left and right. So your upline might be stacking these down, they're stacking these down, but you're still to open it up. You have to contribute. So it's like teamwork. It's teamwork. And once you have contributed 2,000 PV on the left and 2,000 PV on the right, which is either a big bot or 4 baby bots. They also call it the pro membership or the young membership. Once you've contributed that on the left and right, you open it up forever. And then every day it's going to look at how much volume you have on the left and how much you have on the right. It's going to pay 10% of the lower amount. And then it zeroes out on the lower side, but what was ever remaining, you don't lose it. It just stays there on the other side. So if this zeroed out today, I'd get 400 in Bitcoin. And then this would zero out on the right. And then over here, there'd still be 2,000 left for tomorrow. And then I might work on the other side, put people on the other side, which helps other people underneath. So like Tina here, she's helping people on her team. Robin here, helping people on her team. Everybody helping people on their team all the way down. It's really, really powerful. It's really, really awesome. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to open this up to our group before I open up our marketing to the public. Again, there's no guarantee of anything. We have to always say that, like we're required to. But you're in a group that is probably one of the most amazing, heart-centered, solid groups that I've ever been in. So it's a great team to be able to participate in something like this. It's solid. Let's look at the next comp plan. Also team effort, even more so in many ways, kind of remarkable. This is called the matrix. So in this one, my upline, his upline are all contributing to this. I'm contributing to it. Everybody's contributing to it. And so while the binary is happening anyway, we focus on the binary because we place in the binary and we stack really deep to drive it deep and help everybody out as much as we can. And it only goes 2 legs, so it goes really deep in the binary. This one goes 3 by 3, so it goes wider. So while we're just focusing on placement with the binary, with the team effort I was talking about, with building 2 legs and driving down, trying to match the volume and so forth, and the volume helps everybody in the binary, this is happening behind the scenes anyway. Like you don't have to focus on this is just happening. And you can go look in your back office and you see it happening. The matrix starts taking shape because it will only place 3 people on the front level, and then it starts placing 3 people underneath that. It just starts placing them. And in fact, this is a snapshot of mine. If I were to click on one of these at the bottom, it would open up. Like mine already is going down 5 levels, and I've only been doing this 5 days. Now, obviously, my results aren't typical. I work extraordinarily hard, but you want people on your team in a matrix who do that. Does it guarantee that you're going to make all this money or anything? No, that would be stupid to guarantee that. But again, I'm an exceptionally hard worker and exceptionally experienced, and there are a lot of people on our team who are. And if you come in and you can contribute to the team, it's obviously an advantage to be in a model like this as opposed to being completely in a model that forces you to be completely on your own. That's all. For me, it's very exciting to be able to help the team, and very exciting that the whole team is helping the team, and you can't help but help the team. I love that. So this matrix is filling up, and as it does, you get paid 10%. And again, you may not have placed them. Your upline might have placed them. Again, is it a guarantee? No, but that's how it works. And you get paid 10% of trading earnings. So all these trades that people's bots are doing, just all these trades, you're getting, when they're making earnings, when they're making a profit from the Autobot, all these people in your matrix, you get 10% of that in the matrix. I should be really, really clear. That 10% of the total earnings are paid out through this. So we don't know exactly week to week what you're going to get. I don't even know exactly what this will end up being when it fills up, let's say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels. But as the numbers start to compound, if you get out the calculator, obviously, and we got a strong upline and so forth, so they start to compound, and as it fills up, obviously that can turn into a significant amount. I'm more excited about the binary because we control the placement, we're driving down deep, and it's kind of easier to see exactly what's going to happen from it. But I'm excited enough to emphasize that this is happening. We have this too, and as the matrix fills up, it could be impressive. No guarantee of anything, but that's happening in the background is all I wanted you to know. And it really incentivizes like this team effort. Like for example, just to give you an example of that before I get into this next one, the leadership, which is also happening on top of those. I just want to show you about the team effort and how that like creates an amazing culture. Somebody in my organization was going to sign up with me, and I was too busy or what have you. So it was really easy for me to say, oh, have you already hooked up with Vlad? Oh, sign up with Vladimir. Who's an old friend that I knew from Bulgaria that I haven't talked to in years. Like he was going to sign up with me, but he gets to hook up with someone in my organization. Like this rewards that kind of behavior instead of like this really competitive behavior. There's so many other examples, like somebody might be 4 levels down from Tina or whoever, and maybe she was working with somebody, but it's really easy just to emotionally let go and not be competitive when you know that this rewards you in developing leadership and success in others, and that it's already locking in the matrix. So it doesn't matter, like it's all in our group together. That's the beauty of it. That's what I want you to understand. And same thing with the binary. You're building a left and a right. So if you put somebody down 20 levels deep from you, it's okay in the binary. That's awesome. And then everybody, all 20 levels, benefit from that volume. Again, I don't want you to think it's some guarantee of income, but it obviously creates this team spirit, less competitive, and that's very valuable. It's important to understand the value of that. It's huge. It makes all the difference in the world of the culture and how we work together and the speed at which we can help people get to leadership positions if they're contributing. Let's look at this other compensation plan that's also happening. And this is why we want at some point for people to be seriously considering the pro minor level and this leadership position. Because you don't get this one unless you're pro level, which I call big bot. Now you can come in with the baby bot young level and then upgrade later, but obviously there's big advantages to developing leadership. And like if I'm going to be putting time and energy into places, obviously I'm going to be putting them into people that are either pro minor big bot level or planning to get upgrade there at some point. Because we want to develop leadership. And these are the requirements. So we have to pinpoint where are the optimizing points of leverage with the compensation plan, and this is one of them. It's called leadership. So there's several of them. I'm going to focus on there's 4 actually different leadership levels. I'm going to focus on 2 of them so we don't get too complicated. You can study the others later. But the first one is leadership, regional. So while we're doing the others are just happening, right? We're placing people in the binary, placing in depth. We're working as a team. Someone might end up 40 levels underneath me, but that's okay. Everyone kind of benefits all from up the line. That's the binary. While we're doing that, the matrix that I covered is happening and filling in 3 by 3. So that's happening too. But this is also happening at the same time. That's what's cool. It's like spreading them out through different ways, and you're getting paid these different ways. Again, encouraging team building and encouraging, in this case, developing leaders. So in this case, to become regional director, you have to have 3, you have to be a pro minor, which is I call the big bot, and you have to have 3 people that you personally sponsored at the pro level. And then each of those 3 people that you sponsored at the pro level have to sponsor 2 people at the pro level. And it has a little image of it. So it's not like it's inconceivable, like somebody said, you have to like sponsor aggressively and work the business aggressively to do well. Well, I mean, looking at this, no, I mean, this is very achievable. Do you need to work? Yeah, of course. Do you need to be involved? Do you need to learn? Of course. Do you need to be part of the team? Of course. But this is very achievable. So you do also have to have 50 PV volume. So you're working with people to develop, 50,000 PV volume. So that means like when people buy the Pro bot, that's 2,000 PV. When people buy the baby bot, the young bot, that's 500 PV. You might say, oh, I can never do that by myself. Well, you don't have to do it by yourself. You're just working, again, you're working with your teams, and through their efforts and working with their teams, that all counts towards the 50,000 volume. And once you get to regional director, you participate in what they call the first pool every month. There's 4 pools. You participate in the first pool of 2% of monthly benefits of the CWE club. So there's like this big pool that the company sets aside from all of its earnings, and you get a big piece of that pool. So, you can study this in more detail later. But what the company is attempting to do is share a lot of its profits with leadership. And this is the first goal, which I think is a pretty simple one to focus on. It might take you a couple of months, sure. Some people will be able to do this in weeks. I think I'll have it done within my first 2 weeks or sooner. But again, my results aren't typical. But I'm going to be helping people do this, meaning I'm there to support you. I'm looking for opportunities to help you do this. While we're building the binary anyway, which is on top of this, while the matrix is being built anyway on top of this, so the team effort that's just locked in. This is also something we're looking to do, is develop that leadership. And I think it's really cool that you're getting these multiple layers of compensation. And then national, if we're just helping people become pro miners and get to regional, then this happens automatically. But basically, you need 5 active direct members that are pro miners. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that you personally sponsored. You need to be a pro miner, which again I call big bot. And then each of the members invited by you must have 2 invited members directly, just like the national. The big deal here is you have to have 2 regional directors. So again, this is incentivizing. This is the teamwork part. This is incentivizing leaders, people like me, people in the organization who are leaders. It's incentivizing us to identify people who want to become leaders. You raise your hand and say, I want to become a leader. And then we're helping you become leaders because it's incentivizing us to. It's incentivizing you to. That's the beauty of this. And it really gives you a lot of insight into where the company's coming from in terms of, are they a long-term company or not? This is how you know they're a long-term vision company, because they're developing leadership. They're developing true leadership relationships and an emphasis on helping other people become successful, not just with the binary, with being able to build really deep and help people in 2 legs go really, really deep with spillover and helping people get volume, and not just with the matrix that splitters out 3 by 3 and locks it in. So everyone in the team is benefiting from that spillover, but also in these leadership developments, because if I'm wanting to get to national director, I'm going to be identifying people that really want to become a leader and really want to do extraordinarily well. And I'm going to be incentivized to help them develop into leaders, and so on and so forth down through the ranks. Really, really important to have that built in. I really, really like it. So in this one, when you get to national, which is basically just having 5 people who did what we talked about, you're a pro, they're a pro, and they got 2 pros. Real simple. if you're serious about it and you're giving it a couple of months effort. Um, Once you've accomplished this one you have to get more volume, 250,000 volume, which again, when you're helping people develop and people are developing as a team, that starts to expand. It's not just what you personally did, it's what everyone's done that you've brought in and that they've brought in and so forth. So once you've done that, then you get to participate in the first 2 pools of 2% of the monthly benefits of the CWE club. So, you know, I haven't gotten paid this yet. I'm assuming so you're getting twice as much as what you get. And when I get my first regional bonus 2% pool, I'll be able to share with you guys, what's going on. People on my team, I won't use that as a promotional tool because I don't want people to think, oh, then I'll make that or whatever, because then you're getting into FTC regulatory issues. You don't want people to think that they're going to make what you make because everyone's results are going to be different, like a business. But I do want people to get in that are on the team to understand what's going on. So when I get my first 2% pool, I'm going to let you know, and you'll get a better grasp of this. But what I'm hearing is this is actually one of the more lucrative compensation plans, and I'm excited about it because we're incentivized to develop leaders, to work with people in developing leaders. So if you want to become a leader, let me know, and and let me help you do that, is what I'm saying. Not just through my marketing, but also in kind of working with your people and everything. Okay, so in helping you understand, what's going on, you got questions and stuff, I want to be there for you. Okay, so again, we have the Pro Miner membership. I call that the Big Bot. We have the Young Miner membership. I call that the Baby Bot. This one's 2,000 PV, which basically just means, the equivalent of 2,000, depending on what Bitcoin costs. And this is 500 depending on what Bitcoin costs because the price fluctuates, right? So basically 2,000 in US, 500 in US, transferred into Bitcoin because you're paying in Bitcoin. So that's what the costs are. You can start with the Young membership, which I call Baby Bot. Remember what I said earlier, where if you got the Baby Bot, then you could only trade with 2,500 at a time in Bitcoin. If you got the Pro membership, which I call the Big Bot, you can trade with 10,000 at a time. And you can upgrade too, but I think that's a good place. One of these two are a good place to start from. If you have to start from the Young membership at 500, that's completely fine. And then you can upgrade. It's just we want to develop leadership, and those leadership positions are important to focus on too. So at some point you want to upgrade if you want to become a leader, obviously. Now, with both of these, you're buying a yearly membership to the bot, which is 365 days. I'm just going to focus on the big differences. We already talked about the 15% direct commission that the Pro Miner gets, 10% if you're a Young member, 5% on the indirect commission. It's the same with the Young membership. Both get 10% on the binary. So, for those that can't do the Big Bot, that's a great way to come in and start focusing on that binary and generate the proceeds that you need to upgrade to Pro Miner using the binary, because the binary is really powerful because we're building in teams and building deep together. Now, here's the big one though. Pro member, you can qualify for leadership. Young membership, you can't. Okay. All right. So, I think the biggest deal to all of this, honestly, for those of you who don't have the confidence in marketing, like how are you going to get leads? How are you going to find people? How are you going to present the opportunity? I mean, that's the part that I'm going to do for you. And those that have been around a while know that, I do that very, very well. That's the part I know extraordinarily well. I just needed a vehicle that was going to be around. That's all, in this cryptocurrency market, to really be able to share that skill with, for us all to benefit as a team. And that's what I see this as an opportunity with legs. It's going to be around for a very long time because it doesn't have the regulatory issues and because it works really, really well. And there's a huge market of people out there that are going to want to get involved with trading that don't know how. And I know how to sell that. I know how to sell that. I feel very safe selling that from a regulatory perspective. It's a software. I love it. It's got a long-term horizon in front of it for us to be able to do really, really well. So the lead generation system, which I've called the VIP funnels, is going to be upgraded to be able to market all this. Now, I had said before I was going to fully test the 3T network system and also Crypto Autobot, which is another one. For reasons that I shared before, I'm not going to lead with those. I might integrate them in, but I'm going to now move forward with this because I've tested the bot, I love it, and I looked at the other business models, and I just don't feel like I can lead with those and be as successful for the reasons that I shared before. Those other ones are too complicated. If you're not around to monitor all the time, those other two are signals. So they're telling you when to buy and sell. And if you miss the sell, you could really mess up. I just don't want new people that are getting involved with trading to have to deal with all of that, or who still have jobs or can't monitor all day to have that kind of challenge. CWE is awesome because it's automated. And it's working working really, really well. So that's what I'm going to focus the lead generation and VIP funnels on. I'm going to turn them on soon. I wanted to give you guys in the group an opportunity to be a part of this and to work with this team, this incentivized compensation plan team effort before we open this up to the public. But I am going to turn on that funnel here soon for those that are involved with this. So I'm going to focus on lead generation. I've talked about this in the groups before. I'm going to focus on low-hanging fruit. That's people who are suffering out there from the lending programs and a lot of scams. I'm going to be putting videos together on YouTube. You can post those on your YouTube channel. We'll be generating a lot of leads. I've tested that. I'm getting massive leads. I can't believe how many leads that I get for free from that, and they're exceptional leads. I can't handle them all. I'm going to be passing those on to the people on my team. It's crazy how many leads we have because there's such a huge market of people that have been caught up in all kinds of scams and stuff. Even worse than your typical lending platforms. There's terrible stuff out there that people have been taken advantage of on. I'm going to be reaching out to them and helping them get plugged into a sustainable, solid way to take advantage and capitalize in the cryptocurrency market, not with me advising them, not with me telling them, and convincing them that they want to trade in cryptocurrency, but they already want to, and they're looking for they might not know they want the software, but once they know that the software exists, they're going to want to tap into that huge market. We're going to tap into that first with my system. We're going to do it with free methods. We're also going to, for those that can afford some ads to really blast off, we're also going to do the free methods for those that can't afford the ads. Both. It's going to focus on education. It's going to focus on high integrity. It's going to focus on, really telling it how it is transparently. We don't need to hype anything up. Like there's a huge market of people that want to be involved with cryptocurrency that already see where it's going. We just need to let them know that the bot is available and that there's better options than giving your Bitcoin and cryptocurrency over to a lending platform that might run away. Easy from a marketing perspective for me to do that and for me to share those leads and that system with you. I'm going to build in free affiliate programs integrated into the system like Binance because it's all part of it. You might remember Coinbase, you get $10 for referring people. Well, Binance is even much more awesome because you plug it into your bot and it's free to sign up with Binance. It's an exchange, third largest in the world. It's very reputable. You plug it into your Autobot, and you're going to get commissions. And it's small if you only got a few people, but as it builds up, and it's for a long period of time, you're getting all these commissions on those that you referred. So I'm going to build those not just Binance, but other programs into your funnels and your system so you can generate cryptocurrency commissions systematically. And again, these are with programs that don't have regulatory issues. A lot of them are free like Binance. All of them are free except for the Autobot. It's awesome. I'm going to give you the marketing funnels free. It's going to introduce the Autobot concept. On the front end, though, it's not going to talk about CWE. It's going to lead them in and pre-educate them. And on the back end, after they're in their groups and they start tying into a relationship with you, you're going to have trainings and presentations to be able to just pass on to them before you even have to talk to them about it. And a lot of them will want to get involved without ever talking to you at all. I do want you to be willing to talk with people who want to. Again, I want a team effort, and I want people that are willing to do that. But I'm going to be there to help you. And again, that's not going to be a requirement. It's just if somebody does have questions after they watched a formal presentation, something even a lot more formal than this, a lot more detailed, because they won't know who we are at all. After they've watched that, I want you to be willing to talk to them. But again, I and other team leaders will be able to help you do that. And we'll have groups and so forth for them to ask their questions and a lot of leverage there. But anyway, it's going to educate about the opportunities. We're going to have tons of training. So on the back end, after they come in and even after they sign up, you don't have to worry about creating all the trainings and everything. We're going to either refer people to upline trainings or I'm going to create those for you. So this is just a snapshot for those of you who haven't seen it before of the lead capture page. Most of you know what this is. I'm just going to upgrade this. Very easy to do. Educate people on the opportunities available and specifically focus first on those that have tapped into lending platforms or shady opportunities, which a lot of people have, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people worldwide, and we're going to give them a better way. It's going to be really, really simple from that perspective, and I'm going to just give that to you. So I'm excited about it from all those different perspectives I went over today. At the beginning of this, I said, this isn't for everybody. This isn't for everybody to join our team, and this is really important. I only want you to join our team if you already want to trade crypto and that you came to this conclusion independent of my opinions. I don't want to be the one who convinced you to get into crypto. I don't want that responsibility. I believe it's going to the moon, but I don't want to be the one who convinced you of that. So if I did have a big influence on that, then you need to have still come to that conclusion and be able to acknowledge to yourself that you came to that conclusion on your own. And you're not just like, oh, I'm doing this because you're doing it. I trust you, Mike. I don't want that. Like, if you don't know in your gut that cryptocurrency is the place for you to be, to set you and yourself up, to set your family up, if you're not already there, like, I'm not convincing you of that. If you're not there, then you need to go online, you just search, cryptocurrency. Is cryptocurrency the future? You need to go watch some documentaries, banking on Bitcoin. You need to ask around. You need to come to that conclusion on your own before you join our team. Hopefully you're already there. I don't want you joining our team if you're thinking to yourself, oh, Mike convinced me that cryptocurrency is the future. I don't want that responsibility. Do your own research, make that decision on your own. Only join our team if you view failure as a stepping stone. I'm not just saying this. Like, if that's hard for you to grasp, that there's going to be challenges in wealth building, there's going to be mistakes and so forth, you have to view failure as a stepping stone, not as something that, that just overwhelms you to almost defeat, or that you feel like you have to talk about and dwell on. If you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, perhaps the top bestseller in the world, written many, many decades ago, I think back in the 30s, you should read that book. It teaches this. Every personal development book after it was based on this, and it was based on others before it. Some say completely based on the Bible. Regardless of your religious views, the Bible has a lot of powerful lessons that this really is pulling from. It's wisdom. You need to view failure as a stepping stone, or I just don't want you on the team, man. It's just not the right place for you. It's not because I don't personally wish it, that it would work. It's because I know it won't work if you don't understand that failure is a stepping stone towards what you want. You have to believe that mistakes can be useful. Now, they're not useful if we don't learn from them. But if you don't believe mistakes can be useful, even big ones, in fact, if you don't believe that the bigger the mistake, the more useful it can be, then you shouldn't be on the team. It's not right for you. It's not going to work out. Mindset's too different. And if you read Think and Grow Rich, it can be framed this way. You're not of a success mindset, according to Napoleon Hill. Not me saying that, although I agree. But this is like piles and piles of personal development books. If you don't believe in that stuff, this isn't going to work for you. Only join our team if you understand there's no guarantees. Only join our team if you will be positive during challenges. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be little cat fights in the group. There's going to be somebody who, thought somebody, said something tactless. Now, I think we've got the best group in that regard that I've ever seen. And a lot of you that have been with us for a while can agree, but it's because of these understandings that it's the best group I've ever worked with. We want to keep it that way. So only join our team if you will be positive during challenges, whatever the challenges may be. And only join our team if you want to work as a team. I don't want people here who only want to benefit from being on a team. Now, I don't mind if you don't have the skills I do. I don't mind if you are stronger in other areas and maybe not in, communication on video, all that stuff. We'll set up solutions, the systems. You can just use my YouTube videos, etc. We'll support that. But you at least need to be willing to contribute as a team. It's a different kind of mindset. It's a different kind of attitude. We want a team that's focused on helping others succeed. It's not just words. Anyone who's been around me a long time knows that's what I'm focused on. And that's why we have so much momentum, and so we can move so quickly into something. And again, once we find a vehicle that's going to last, do extraordinarily well. I want people on our team who want to work as a team. Okay, so this is what the sign-up form looks like. This is something that I built. CWE requires manual sign-up, so there's not some link. You send your Bitcoin to an address that goes to the person you're registering with, and they have to manually sign you up. I built this form, and I'll build a submit form for those of you who get involved. We'll build it for you. My team will build it for you. I believe in what CWE is doing there. They want it to be manual because they don't want people just blasting their links all over the internet. and doing a bunch of hypey, crappy marketing that gets a bunch of people, they might be using misleading concepts or whatever and guarantees, and then getting people signed up in mass quantities, and then they don't know anything about what's really going on. But that's not what our group's doing. So I felt comfortable setting up a form, and I see other teams doing something similar, although our form's a lot simpler. And I will build a form for you just to make it a little bit more professional. But we still want to be there for people if they have questions. We still want to honor what CWE is aiming to do with this, and not just blasting out massive automation marketing. I'm going to set up marketing that's very high touch as well as automated. And I don't want anybody. I mean, if you have a real challenge talking to people, then okay, we might find another, strength that you have or something that you're willing to do for the team. Just let us know. But ultimately, we don't want as a team for us to be like trying not to connect with people that have questions. And so I honor what CWE is doing with having the manual sign up and making sure there's a relationship there. But I did create a form. This is this simple. You send your Bitcoin to an address, it goes to the person you're registering with, and they manually place you. And the cool thing about that too is then they place you and it benefits the team. They're placing in the binary and that benefits others on their team. And that's awesome to have that manual sign up. So let me just summarize why I chose Crypto World Evolution. We know the owner, and he's got a track record of being very successful with other companies that are still here after many years, which is a big deal in cryptocurrency. It says a lot about his values and his choices and his decisions, and we see that infused in the compensation plan, into the requirement of manual sign up, into the all kinds of things that they're doing. We're seeing those values. That's one piece. It's not a security. No regulatory complications. Very important. Did not see that with other options. Easy to start trading and to capitalize on the cryptocurrency movement. Easy to get people started, easy to understand, and it's working really well. You hold your Bitcoin, not a lending platform. I already said it's easy to understand and begin. And the emphasis, I think, what really gets me excited is the compensation plan and just the whole culture's emphasis on teamwork for generating those commissions. So that's why I'm looking for team players. I don't want people just here to benefit from that. We need to build a solid, strong team, a team that wants to develop leaders, a team that wants to help people be successful. That's what I enjoy being around. It's not just about the money. It's not just about capitalizing on cryptocurrency. It's also about the people that come with us and doing it together. Next steps, contact the person you've worked with. If you're seeing this, then you've probably already been on our groups. You've probably already been working with somebody. Reach out to them. If they're not available or they're out of the loop, then make a post in the group asking for a guide, and someone will appear and they will help you. All right? Okay, guys. I'm as excited as ever about the cryptocurrency movement. I'm as excited, and there's been some corrections. Bitcoin at the time of this recording is in the 8,000s. I think I saw it drop down to like 5,900 one night recently, like right after I got involved. The market tanked right after I got my bot set up. That tells me, I'm not telling you, that tells me the market's about ready to go up. Could it go down before it goes up? Yes. Could it go down and never come back up? Yes. But I'm excited because the experts I've listened to and everything that I understand about history and the internet boom and good bubble